Well, I just finished installing the front springs, my '62 Bel Air wagon. It's a really clean car. It's a frame off. Not a spot of rust on it in any corner. Only got some pinholes under the passenger side floorboard, and that's it. Very, very clean. It was worth the extra money I spent because there's no body wear. Very straight car too. I haven't seen this old a car that's been this clean and straight in a while. Okay, I just installed the tubular A-arms, upper and lower, 2-inch drop spindle, 12-inch rotor, and new caliper. My next video I'll give you some specific numbers because I know there's a lot of people that are having a hard time figuring out what goes where and who matches what. And I'd spent a lot of time too researching this whole deal, and I got to figure it out. I'll just pass it along. The other thing I found was how to install springs. A lot of guys out there upgrading, whatever, replacing, don't know how to install the springs. Well, I found out the hard way, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to let you know. This is the passenger side, and I just finished the driver's side a couple minutes ago. I removed the bump stop to get just a little bit more travel so I could bolt the spindle in there. Well, the compressor that I used is a compressor that looks like this. I've used the outside style. I've used a style like that with hooks on both ends. This is the one that I found works the best. The outside style, there's no way you're going to compress that spring far enough. It's not going to work. The only way to get these springs in there is you have to compress it as hard as it, or as tight as it can go, put the spring, and then bolt the damn thing together and release it. I've seen guys have tension on it and jack up the car, and they use a floor jack and this and that. And just get yourself a good spring compressor set up, and it'll save you time. Trust me, I just did it. Your compressor needs to have hardened shaft or a hardened thread, and it has to be a fine thread. I rented the same kind of style. It has a normal Acme thread on it. Then I bent it, ripped it up. You can't get enough torque. This fine thread, you can get enough torque. And they all say don't use a ratchet, or don't use an air gun, or an air ratchet. There's an electric one. Well, the only way you're going to compress that spring is to use an air ratchet. I'm sorry. Unless you got a 4-foot pry bar, you can't do it. Don't be scared of it. I was. And the main key on this is take your time and make sure that rod is on center. Because when you start it, it has a tendency to kick off one way. Get a little pressure on it, center it, more pressure, keep tapping it till you get it on center. And make sure those grooves and these hooks are in the right spot. Otherwise it's not going to work. Trust me, I just did it. And this side I had to do twice. Now the problem. This spring compressor has, when you have to take it out, this one comes out the bottom. Well, this end is fine because it's round, but this end is square. Well, in these particular control arms, these are classic or performance products, you can see there's a down where the bottom is there. That's oval shaped, and this compressor just barely makes it. But you can pull it out the bottom. Oh, and if I don't see out all those cars that can put springs on without having to scuff them. I'm sorry. You still got to take a hammer and whack them over a little bit. I'm just going to have to touch up all the powder coat that I scratched. But this isn't a show car anyways. Back to the spring compressor. The other idea that I had was opening up this hole in the shock tower and getting some fine threaded rod and doing it upside down. And you could actually use this same compressor if you open the hole up big enough for this shaft. Put the hooks, install the hooks down below, and then, excuse my, I only have one hand. And then put this through the hole and do it from that way. That might work. As a matter of fact, it would work. Might have worked better for my case. I don't know. But anyways, it's done. Once the spring compressor was working fine, it took me an hour and a half to get this spring on. One thing you got to make sure is that there's a notch up here in the shock tower. There she is right there. Tip of the spring has to go into that. Keeps it from turning. This one's about a ½ inch off, unfortunately. So my plan is to get some webbing, like ratchet strap webbing, wrap it around there, strap it tight, put a long rod on it, and slowly rotate it clockwise till that coil just pops right in there. And I'm sure I'll hear it snap right in, and my bottom urethane bushing is off about the same, so I think it'll be perfect. Sometimes things don't always go as planned. Like I said, I did remove the bump stop just to give it a little more try. I got about another inch of travel when I bolted it together, so that helped a lot. I'll wait till I get the engine and trans in, get the weight of the car on it, and then slide it back in. But so far so good. Like I said, I'll give you a review on what specific parts I used for these. My next step this next week here is to get all the power steering, all the steering arms on, get my shocks on, and then next week or so I'm ready to put the engine in. Here's the firewall. That black is just paint, and then I've got the sealer, or body sealer there, seam sealer for the seal. But you can see how clean it is here. And look, right there in that corner, there's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Little undercoating there, can't wipe off. This is going to get a 454 with a 700 R4 tranny. Hopefully, as far as I know, all I have to do is buy a motor mount or trans mount that mounts it. The trans mount will be located a little further back. I think I can buy that. Other than that, it's time to bolt stuff back together. Look for another video here in 3 or 4 days. Thanks. Bye.